So you've been in a long job search, especially if you're over 45, 50, 55, even 60. And there are chances that at least several times you've asked yourself, am I being passed over because of my age? So I felt that this was something very important that we need to have a discussion about, because I know I certainly fall into the over 55 club. And I believe I know from personal experience and the experience from so many others, age can be just a number if you stay relevant and understand how to be productive and valuable. So today I'd love to have a very honest conversation about this. It's going to be uncomfortable for some. This is not a political conversation or legal conversation, but a real practical, honest conversation. Because while ageism absolutely exists, focusing all your energy on something you cannot control is one of the fastest ways to lose confidence and momentum and opportunities and create so much frustration for yourself. So let's talk about what you can control. For those of you new here, I'm Lori Lawrence. I'm the founder of Next Chapter Career Coaching. And I work primarily with experienced professionals over the age of 45 who are navigating career transitions and job searches. For the last few years, I've had hundreds of conversations with job seekers who just simply tell me with authority, I just know it's my age, Lori. And maybe sometimes they're right. But I'm going to tell you, more often than not, age, it's just a number. And it's only a part of the story. The biggest issue is how you're showing up. Now, before anybody jumps into the comments, let me be clear. I'm not saying age bias doesn't exist. It does. It absolutely does, alongside all of the other biases that exist in the world. But here's what I know. The professionals who land in under 90 days are rarely the ones spending their time trying to prove ageism is happening. They're spending their time proving their relevance in today's market. That's a very different mindset. This comes from a place of belief, strength, and confidence. And here's what I mean. So when you walk into an interview via virtual conference call or perhaps in person, no one is hiring age. They're hiring the ability to solve a problem. They're hiring someone who can help the business grow and reach their goals. They are hiring to help the team perform and to help customers succeed, to help projects get completed, to increase revenue, lower risk. They're hiring outcomes and a true return of investment. And if your message is, I have 30 years of experience, that's nice. But experience by itself, well, it's no longer enough. You're not entitled to your next role based on all that you've done for 30 years. Sorry. This is just how this market is working. It has changed. And let me say this again. Today's market is extremely competitive and it's very different than probably when you were looking before. Today's organizations are asking, can you adapt and learn? Can you work with people from different generations? Can you embrace the evolving technology? Can you solve today's problems, not just yesterday's? Those are the questions being evaluated. And sometimes what job seekers interpret as ageism is actually a concern about relevance. And here's where I may lose a few of you. But you need to look at this and you need to hear this. I listen to what people say and what they write on LinkedIn. Things like, well, with my experience, I shouldn't have to fill in a blank. I shouldn't have to learn AI or update and optimize my LinkedIn or network or tailor a resume over and over again or practice interviewing or even understand how this job market is supposed to work. And every time I hear or read that, I know we're heading into very dangerous territory because experience is expected these days. Relevance is required. The market isn't rewarding people simply because they've been doing something for 30 years. It's rewarding people who can clearly connect their experience to today's business challenges. That's a big difference. One of my favorite client stories involves a woman who is 81 years old. 81. She's a practicing CPA. She's working for an organization that is working in business tax and business consulting. And before you ask, yeah, she should retire, she chooses not to. And she's chosen to operate and live her life on her own terms. And retirement isn't a part of that. She loves serving people. She enjoys being around smart professionals. She likes being productive. She loves contributing. And guess what? The people around her, they don't see her age. In fact, most of them don't even know her age. They see her expertise, her attitude, her energy, her willingness to continue to learn, her ability to contribute, how fast she works, and how she never complains. She doesn't walk into a room saying, I'm 81. She walks into a room saying, how can I help? There's a lesson in this. Your age is a number. It defines how many times you've gone around the sun. Your relevance, it's a choice. Now let's talk about some things you can proactively do for yourself. First, make sure your resume focuses on impact, not just responsibilities and history. I don't mean a detailed description. I don't want a detailed description of what you did in 1997. I need to understand the value you've delivered recently and then how you can apply that value to today. Pay attention to what you have done in the last 5 years. What problems have you solved? What results have you created? Second, look at your LinkedIn profile. Does it look and sound current? Or does it sound like it was written 10, 15 years ago? What does your banner and headshot look like? How does your headline read? What kind of story is in your about section? And how does your history portray itself? Are you engaging and participating with people? Are you a part of conversations that are happening on LinkedIn? Or is your profile just sitting there collecting digital dust? And third, embrace technology. And no, that doesn't mean you need to become an AI engineer. But if you're actively resisting a technology, people can feel that. The opposite is also true. When you're curious, open-minded, and willing to learn, people feel that too. Fourth, pay attention to your interview energy. This one matters so much. Smile. Sometimes job seekers unknowingly come across frustrated, entitled, defensive, or even exhausted. And honestly, after months of searching, that's understandable. But hiring managers, they don't buy. They're not buying experience. They buy confidence and positivity and solutions. They buy people they can imagine working alongside every day. And finally, stop trying to prove why someone should hire you because of your experience. Start showing them why they should benefit from hiring you because of your experience. Those are two completely different conversations. So here's my challenge for you this week. Take a hard look at your own positioning, not your age, your positioning. If you were a hiring manager looking at your resume, your LinkedIn profile, and how you've been interviewing, would you see someone who is relevant, adaptable, positive, likable, and ready for today's challenges? Or would you see someone relying primarily on past accomplishments? Be honest with yourself, because that answer might be more important than your age. And at the end of the day, I work with professionals that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and yes, even in their 80s, who have landed meaningful work. Not because they ignored their age, but because they refused to let it define them. They showed up confident. They showed up staying curious. And they showed up staying relevant. And they really, truly focused and understand the value that they can bring to an organization. That's what employers remember. So if this message, if it's resonated with you, please like and subscribe to this channel. Share it with someone that you know. And if you're struggling with your own job search, just book a conversation with me. I'd be happy to help you take a look at your own strategy and identify where you may be unintentionally creating obstacles for yourself. Until next time, keep showing up, keep learning, and keep reminding yourself that your next chapter is still being written. Bye.